In today's session, we're going to try to use every single moment that we have to get a lot done in a little bit of time. We're going to try to learn one section of the small simon, Tuf Kuf Nun Ches. This simon deals with the halachas after Tisha B'Av, which is right now. In particular, within this simon, there is one area which is incredibly applicable for this time period. In fact, there's a disproportionate amount of shilas. People ask me, what is the halacha with this case? And it's the exact same shilah that keeps coming up and up. And for me, I've been personally getting a lot of shilas on this. And the basic question is, there's multiple parts to it, is what are we allowed to do during this time? Tisha B'Av this year, as we know, fell out that it began on Wednesday night, and the fast continued until Thursday night. Okay, so now the question is after the fast. We're definitely allowed to eat. The question is, what about basar v'yayin? Are we allowed to have chicken, meat, wine? When are we allowed to have it? The question becomes, and this is the most popular question, laundry. When am I allowed to do the laundry? Okay. Uh, Is it last night? Is it today? Does it have to be after halachic midday today, chatzos? The third question is haircuts and shaving. When is that permissible? And those are the basic questions that we have. The fourth question, of course, is showering and bathing. So those are the basic questions. You could also throw in listening to music already. As we know, already from 3 weeks ago, we started having some prohibitions that kicked in that we weren't allowed to do. And they got more stringent within 9 days of Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av was the most stringent. And now everything is winding down a little bit. Question is, when is it winding down? Why would it be different in particular this year as opposed to other years? The answer is because it's Erev Shabbos. Tonight is Shabbos. Just want to begin, before we even go into the nuances, in terms of the reasonings, the rationale, and the bottom line rulings, just want to begin by sharing a Torah. The Torah opens up the Siman by quoting a brisa. On the 7th of Av, the Jewish enemies, they went into the Beis Hamikdash area and they ruined it. And then finally, the culmination of this disaster occurred when they burned everything. And it burned until the 10th day of Av. That's why Rabbi Yochanan says, if I was there, if I had the ability, I would have established that Tisha B'Av is going to be Asara B'Av. It should be on the 10th of Av, because that's when most of the Beis Hamikdash was burned. The Yerushalmi teaches us that Rabbi Avin would fast not just on Tisha B'Av, but also the 10th of Av. That's Rabbi Avin. Rabbi Avin Sayim Tishi via Sidi. Yeah. Rabbi Levi, he fasted Tisha B'Av, and at least he fasted last night also, the 10th of Av. He couldn't fast the whole day of the 10th, so at least he tried to do whatever he could. So we see something very surprising to most people who don't even realize that this Torah exists. And that is the concept of even extending the fast for a second day until the 10th of Av. That's what we see over here. Says the Torah, nowadays, I mean, this desires a highlight over here. I mean, this is quite a line over here. Uben shel heichel b'lei nisraf. On the 10th. Us nowadays, says the Torah, why don't we fast on the 10th of Av? 2 words, tash koichena, we're weak. We're weak over here. But really, you see from this Torah that there's an idea of continuing these inuyim, these forms of affliction, so to say, to the 10th day as well. Torah concludes by saying, nevertheless, the kosher custom is, mina kosher, not to eat meat on the 10th of Av and on the day of Av. Okay. So we started off with something very serious. Something to think about. By the way, they say that many Gedolim, they also fasted 2 days nowadays as well. Something to think about. The Shulchan Aruch opens up the Siman by saying, "B'Tisha B'Av la'eis erev hetzisu eish b'heichel v'nisruf ha'shchiyas l'cham b'yom asir m'bnei kach min ha'kosher shel la'echel basar shosher estayim b'l asir v'yom asir." Comes the Rama, v'yesh machmirin ad chatzos hayom v'lo yoser. Some are stringent until halachic midday after Tisha B'Av. Okay, so that's today. Some are stringent not to eat meat and drink wine, but after halachic midday it would be permissible. Skip over here well, we could see this first Mishnah Berurah. Why then is Tisha B'Av on the 9th of Av, not the 10th? If most of the Beis Hamikdash burned on the 10th, the answer is because the beginning of the difficulties is better, and therefore we start fasting when the difficulties began. Comes along the Mishnah Berurah and says, okay, the Ramah said we wait until halachic midday, until chatzos. V'hu adin, the Mishnah Berurah and Gimel, we're cutting to the chase over here. V'hu adin shelo lirchos b'mirchos u'lasaper l'kabes ad chatzos. The same halacha applies that a person should not bathe in the bathhouse and get a haircut, aka shaving, and do laundry until halachic midday. In other words, this Ramah, who says that a person should be stringent until halachic midday, until after Tisha B'Av chatzos, around 1 o'clock now, depending upon which location a person is in. MyZmanim.com, type in the zip code, they'll give you the exact time of when chatzos is. And nevertheless, says the Mishnah Berurah, coming from the Rahashal, and Shalos and Shuvas, that we do not bathe in a bathhouse, get haircuts, and do laundry until halachic midday. Just want to point something out based on other knowledge that I have. Is this specifically our bathhouse or even a shower in a person's house? Would there be a difference because going to a bathhouse is more of an effort, so to say? Hold that question. But you're not allowed to until halachic midday. And then comes the surprise shocker, and this is where the shaila comes from that everyone's been asking. Ukeshechal Tisha B'Av b'yoyim chamishi. Let's talk about when Tisha B'Av falls out on Thursday, aka this year. Sha'az yoyim asiri hu erev Shabbos. Comes out now that the 10th of Av, aka today, is the eve of Shabbos. Tonight we have Shabbos. Mutter b'kol zeh l'kavod Shabbos. This is all permissible in honor of Shabbos. It's all permitted in honor of Shabbos. In other words, this is a tremendous leniency that the Mishnah Berurah is quoting, which, by the way, I'm just going to pull up just very quickly on the screen to show you. This is not the Mishnah Berurah coming up with his own idea. This is straight out of the Magen Avram. The Magen Avram at the end of Os Aleph over here says the Ketchachal b'yoyim shishi akol motel l'kavod Shabbos. When it falls out, when the 10th of Av is on Erev Shabbos, everything is permissible in honor of Shabbos. Going back to the Mishnah Berurah just to see the language again. When Tisha B'Av falls out on Thursday, the 10th of Av is the eve of Shabbos, aka Erev Shabbos. Today, Mutter b'kol zeh l'kavod Shabbos. This is all permitted in honor of Shabbos.
When on Erev Shabbos?
Oh, thank you very much for asking the shaila that everyone's been asking. What does this mean? What is Erev Shabbos? So, I'm going to ask you because both of you made it through. We learned together. Siman Reish Samach, Siman Reish Samach Beis, Siman Reish Nun. What does Erev Shabbos mean?
What is it? The whole day.
Yeah, the whole day, aka what?
Starting Thursday night?
Oh, the whole day. Starting Thursday night. Well, when we learned the halachas of preparing for Shabbos,
Yeah, we saw that it was mostly Friday, especially
Oh,
Friday afternoon, but more
oh,
still Friday morning better than, Friday afternoon better than Friday morning, but Friday morning seemed to have been the more covered Shabbos time than Thursday night.
oh,
We only had that
oh.
heter on Thursday night about cutting nails, I think. Not heter, but I'm
Oh,
saying.
thanks very much. So now we know the answer. All the people asking the shilas. And then not only when they ask the shilas, they ask the follow-up shilah. Why? They say, why can't you already do laundry last night? Why can't you get haircuts last night? Why can't you do it? What does Erev Shabbos mean to you? Well, I know
Me.
what it means to us. Us who learn the halachas properly, Erev Shabbos means the eve of Shabbos, the day before. Right? On any holiday, so to say, Havdil, secular holiday, when does the traffic start? On the eve, not right?
Oh,
I'm saying
2 weeks
Erev
before.
Shabbos, though, as we learned together many times, means the actual eve. Why? Because it's the Nikar, it's recognizable that our preparations for Shabbos are being done in honor of Shabbos, as opposed to if it's the night before, it's not recognizable. But you know what? Forget about what our thoughts are. Who cares about feelings? Okay? We're learning halacha. All right, we're big boys over here. What did the poskim say? How did they learn this Mishnah Berurah? I also want to add, before we go deeper in this Mishnah Berurah, someone, after asking me the shaila, brought to my attention, I'm not going to say who. David probably knows, you don't need to say who, and I don't want to mention the name, that someone apparently uh, put out a statement that goes to a lot of people, that a lot of people follow, and people read the statement saying that it's permissible. I don't know exactly how it was phrased. This is only what I was told, that it's permissible to do laundry as of last night. So I'd like to address two things about this. Number one,
Did I say this?
where is that? No, that was not you, someone else, but I know that you read it also. Number
No.
one, where is that leniency coming from? And number two, can we rely on that preferably? That's what we have to discover. That's why I said that we have to use every single minute today with the limited time that we have on this subject, which really only applies for the next 3 hours. Because Chatzos, by the time we're done, is already in 3 hours. But for a lot of people, it's relevant last night. But you know what? It's here forever. The Torah that we learned, it's typed up. It's written down. It's recorded. Oh, when Tisha B'av, here's the message. When Tisha B'av falls on Thursday, laundry for Shabbos may be done immediately after the fast is over. Other clothing may be added to a load of Shabbos clothing. Okay, that's a triple leniency then. Okay, there's the message over there. Okay, so this is gonna be for eternity. This is where we're coming from. Okay, we see this over here. What we have in front of us. First, let's start going with the Ozvah the Mishnah. The Mishnah Berurah said, okay, mutter bekol zeh. This is what the Mishnah Berurah said. Mutter bekol zeh. All of this is permissible. What is all of this? Says those v'hadar rechitza kibus v'tisbaris. Fine, we know that. Oh, here I'm getting more messages. All right, here we got the whole message.
Wasn't
Here we got the
was
whole
my only
message.
message.
Allah is related to Tisha B'av on Thursday. Yeah, haircuts. Permitted on Thursday night. Laundry permitted Thursday night. Additional yeah, okay, there it is. Bathing, wait until Chatzos Friday. Unless hot water will not be able eating and drinking one, wait until after Chatzos Friday, which makes sense.
Wasn't
Correct. Okay, there's the message. Okay, so everyone
But
knows
I
the
think
message that I'm
I
talking
think the
about.
key thing is it
Yeah.
has to be all the Chavit Shabbos.
Okay. Okay. No, but it said over there that even if the clothing wasn't in honor of Shabbos, even if you're not going to use the clothing of Shabbos. Okay, so I'm just correcting what you just sent me. Okay, so everyone knows about it now. All right. I'm gonna tell you why this is. Let's go through this over here, okay? Because this is okay. Comes out over here like this. It's all permissible in honor of Shabbos. Be'erev Shabbos afilu koydem chatzos. So you see that the Talmidei Chachamim who wrote the Oz V'Hadar Mishnah Berurah learned that this Mishnah Berurah and Magen Avraham is referring to. It's permissible. What is this het there? What is the chiddush over here? What is the leniency that can apply when Thursday ends on when Tisha B'av ends on Thursday night? The leniency is you could do the laundry before halachic midday today on Erev Shabbos. That's the leniency. That is the simple explanation of this leniency. Because if you're going to need to do this after midday, you're not going to have time to prepare for Shabbos. That's the reason. What's the reason that this is all permissible? The answer is because we need to be involved with the preparations of Shabbos. Time out. Stop right there. This is one of the latest Shabbosim of the year starting around 8 o'clock at night. Again, depending upon a person's location, talking about the general tri-state area, fine. Starts around 8 o'clock at night. Does a person need to now be involved with all this before 1 o'clock? 7 hours isn't enough? Oh, a person's working. If you're working, you probably have someone who's tending your house anyways. Okay? If it's both spouses that are working, both of them probably aren't working till Erev Shabbos anyways. There's time anyways. Okay? So this is because you're not going to have time. That's what this comes down to. You're not going to have time. But they clearly learn that this is after halachic midday. Let's go to the footnote, though. Where are they coming from? First of all, I want to provide a leniency that wasn't related in that short message. Leniency is like this. Footnote Yod Aleph. What about eating meat before halachic midday? According to the Aruch HaShulchan, it's prohibited. According to the Barditchever, it's actually permissible. Okay? Better not to machlokes. Okay? If you want to be lenient, there's what to rely on. This halacha, though, that you could do everything before halachic midday, the source is a Magen Avram, like we just saw. The Shari Tshuva explains the intention of the Magen Avram is specifically during the daytime, it's permissible, not the night before. That's also what many other Achronim hold. Eliyah Rabbah, Derech HaChaim, Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, Pri Megadim. I can pull up the Pri Megadim on the screen. I saw it inside. It's very quick Pri Megadim. So we see that most Achronim are saying, standard Achronim, classics, not in the last 50 years or so, not poskim, Achronim, are saying that this heter only applies today, not the night before. Charles Chubas Megid Shemaim, I don't even know who that is, but he says also during the day. The Buchacher in the Ishal Avram also says it's not simple from the Magen Avram that at night is permissible. However, they quote one posik, Shilas and Shuvan Evan Yisrael. I don't know exactly chronologically when he was around and the time period and everything, but he learns that the Magen Avram permits us even at night. The night before. This is where it comes from. Ezra, which many quote him, which we learned in Siman Reish Mem Beis, made a takana not to do laundry, to only do laundry on Thursday, so you have time to be involved with the preparations of Shabbos on the eve of Shabbos. As we learned about that, there are many ways that nowadays it's really permissible to do laundry because our laundry that we do is much easier than the laundry how they used to do it when they used to have to go down to the river and it would take a lot of time and everything. Okay, fine. So we clearly see from most poskim how they're quoting that this only applies during the day. This Chuvas quotes this also and says many poskim say that already Thursday night you're allowed to do the laundry, haircuts, bathing. However, this is specifically if you're doing in honor of Shabbos. But if you're going to have in mind that when you're going to shower, last night you're going to shower again today, or you're going to shower this morning and then shower again later, you're not allowed to do that. Okay? Unless you have a lot of sweat. Okay? Why? Because we're still in the morning period. Similarly, person can only do laundry. Look at what he says over here, fellas. Person can only do laundry in the clothing that you're going to be using for Shabbos, not other clothing. Eating meat and wine is prohibited until halachic midday, just like every other year. Not like those who make a mistake with this. Some say that regarding haircuts, it's correct to be stringent and wait until after halachic midday. However, we find that many write that in this situation, the rabbis didn't decree at all, and it's all permissible, even not in honor of Shabbos. See, he's kind of relating that there's different opinions, and is hesitant to come out with a definitive ruling over here. Footnote 23. This is where things start getting interesting. I mean, everything was interesting the whole time, but say over here that there's a Magen Avram in another place. It's in Tov Kuf Nun Aleph. There's a Tais who's lenient to do laundry in honor of Shabbos on Tisha Beav itself.
Wow.
Yeah. In this type of year, when Tisha Beav falls out how it does after Mincha time. Magen Avram rejects that opinion. We'll see about this more. And Paskins like the Beis Yosef, the Darchei Moshe, and others, Tisha B'Av, you certainly can do. The Rab over there is lenient if you have someone who isn't Jewish who's going to do the laundry, even on Tisha B'av itself, in the afternoon time. That's what the Yabetz also paskins in a Siddur Yabetz. He says, look at the Torah Chaim. We discussed the Torah Chaim Sofer discusses this more. Accordingly, after Tisha B'av, it will be permissible to do laundry on Erev Shabbos, even by someone Jewish. However, the Shari Tshuva, as we already saw quoted, rejects that. He said it has to be the morning. Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, Aruch Shulchan is repetitive. We already saw they say that you cannot do the laundry as of last night.
Nice. You see that there's an nafkamina with the guy.
Yeah, correct. One could be more lenient. Correct. The question is, would the Shari Tshuva Eliyah Rabba, Kitzur Shulchan Aruch and Aruch Shulchan also permit that? They didn't give that heter. They didn't say Ali they Nachri doing the laundry would be okay.
No, I'm not saying on Tisha B'av itself. I'm saying,
know.
let's say now, let's say especially in the morning on Thursday.
In the morning for sure is fine. That's the Mishnah Berurah. The morning for sure is fine. The question is last night.
So I'm saying if it's, let's say you have, laundry that's not L'Chavet Shabbos.
Oh, we're going to get to that more. However, many poskim, right? Shacharis doesn't mean necessarily in the morning it's permissible. Rather, back then it wasn't their norm to do laundry at night when they would have to go to the river and they didn't have electricity back then. Really, it's permissible after the fast. Especially laundry with the enactment of Ezra that the laundry isn't done on Erev Shabbos, that you have time to be involved with Shabbos. It's also implied from the Siddur Yabetz. You could do it immediately as well. And then he quotes other poskim as well, who are lenient in this regard. In a pressing situation, he quotes the Shiles and Chuvas Be'er Moshe. In a pressing situation, you could do the laundry as of last night. All these svarim, you have to look up each sefer. I'm being honest, I didn't look them up. So I don't know exactly what they say there, but the way that at least it's getting quoted over here, at least from the Debetziner, is in a pressing situation. Also, all those poskim note when they're all more contemporaries. The simple explanation of the Magen Avraham and the Mishnah Berurah is that it is in fact prohibited.
On Thursday night.
Yes, correct. To do it on Thursday night. And he concludes by saying that the bathing/showering, haircuts, you're only allowed to do, you can't do that as of last night. We'll see more about that. Okay? This is basically the Piskei Chuvas. You look in the Dershu Mishnah Berurah, also they quote a lot of different opinions as well. We're going to have a lot to cover over here in a little bit of time. The Shilos and Chuvas Mekadesh Yisrael of Harfinis discusses these exact Shilos. Siman Shin Tesvav. Before we even go into these Shilos, it seems like, as everyone agreed before, and the simple reading of the Mishnah Berurah, the Magen Avraham, and the way that the poskim understand their ruling, is that this only applies today, as of the morning time. It has to be the morning. Then you have the leniency that you could do it before midday. Okay, let's see what he says though. Could you get a haircut as of last night? Could you shave? Parfana says leniently, b'makom soyrach yesh lahakel gam b'layl. In a place of need, one could be lenient at night. Place of need, if necessary. He says the same idea that we just saw in the footnote. Back then, they didn't work at night. It wasn't practical. They didn't have electricity. And therefore, really it doesn't mean specifically during the day that it's permissible, even as of last night. And therefore, in a pressing situation, one could be lenient, except for eating meat and wine. Continues over here, and he says, lechatchila preferably, and in general, as we learn together, when we learn Siman Reish Samech properly, to the best of our ability, one should always shave on Erev Shabbos or in general. If he could time it to get the haircut, it should always be on Friday, and not Thursday.
Right, yeah.
It would be no difference over here. But if it's impossible, it's impossible. Furthermore, the Buchacher over there says, that one should even shave and get a haircut after Chatzos. after halachic midday on the eve of Shabbos Friday, Erev Shabbos Kodesh. Why? Because it's more recognizable that it's being done in honor of Shabbos. There'll be no difference over here. Therefore, when one of the people who called me to ask the Shaila said, "What's the story? Can I get the haircut? Can I shave last night?" I said to him, "Why is it so difficult to shave or get a haircut today?" He was really talking about the shaving, not even the haircut. Shaving, everyone shaves on their own. What's so difficult about shaving? Oh, he's going out of town. Shabbos Nachamu, out of town. Okay, very nice. You're going from where you're located, upstate. You're going somewhere else. Okay, fine, very nice. You're going upstate New York. They don't have electricity upstate New York. You can't bring
How,
your shaver with you.
how about mitzvah? That you just don't like having a beard.
You don't
It's
like having your beard. So for 3 weeks, you've been rolling with your disliked beard, and now you can't
yes.
wait another couple hours, which most of it you're sleeping anyways. It's ridiculous. We're talking about, like we saw on the tour, that the Beis Hamikdash, most of it was burned on the 10th of Av, and that the rabbis would fast 2 days, not just Tisha B'av. And here you can't wait a couple hours to shave. Come on. What is going on? We're talking about the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash. People don't even know what korbanos are. They have no hasaga. What avoida is. What everyone being, all these people off the derech, it's all because we don't have the Beis Hamikdash. All right, but I'm not trying to throw in any drush or musar over here. Just a little hashkafa. What's going on over here?
Well, he
That's
does say
all
to
good
me
luck.
this. He does say to me this chasidus to wait till after chatzos, so it's obviously a good thing to do that.
Midas. No, I'm not even saying to wait after chatzos. Wait until the day. Wait until today, not last night.
So then it seems to be there's an extra sensitivity to wait after chatzos today.
Yeah, okay, fine. That's extra. But from the letter of the law, I said, you're in such a rush to shave last night. Just do it this morning. So, packing the shaver, an extra thing to pack. And how big is a shaver? It takes up, right? You put a shaver in, even when you're overweight when you go on a plane. One shaver, is it going to add that much weight? Okay, you don't want to pack it. It's a nuisance. Okay, no problem. Shave in the morning before you go. Oh, you're in a rush. You're in a rush. Go to an earlier shachris. It's always funny. People have told me these shachris minyanim. We have a minyan by us every 15 minutes. Everything. Nowadays, in most Jewish communities, every 15 minutes you can find the shachris minyan. So it's always funny that the 7 o'clock minyan or the 6:45 minyan something that they're speeding through davening. If you're in such a rush to go to davening, to go work, to go somewhere, just go to an earlier shachris. You could easily go to Vasikin. You could be done before 6 o'clock in the morning, right? So that's also, like the you see sometimes the Minion Factory, the guy's walking in 7:43. Givaldic, he's coming 2 minutes early to the 7:45, and then you see the guy walks into the 7:30 chakras 13 minutes late. So by the time he's done with his talis and tefillin, it's right before Yishtabach. My hi. What's going on? We have a full psukkah de zimmer. We have a full birchus of shachas, birchus of Torah, karbanos to do. What is going on? Oh, okay, but anyways, enough of the tangenting with the tangential points over here. Let's take a look at the next tshuva. All right. What are we talking about over here with the laundry? Could we do laundry as of last night? He wants to say it's permissible. Wait, what is he talking about? Tisha B'av shechal b'yoim hey. Right. He wants to say it's permissible. And again, I think that this is where this ruling came from that you both sent me, you both read it, and you knew about it. So pay attention. However, someone who's not burdened with the preparations of Shabbos and is stringent not to do laundry as of last night, a bracha should befall him. I don't like this language. I don't like this ruling. I think it's against the simple understanding of the Mishnah Berurah and the Magen Avraham. That's my personal opinion. I like this. I like this farm in general. I just think that this ruling is a questionable ruling. And someone who is, and I want to just add something over here. People open this sefer, which is a great sefer, don't get me wrong. And they learn it not with other Sfar. They read through it. It's a book. It's a sefer, Sfar HaKadoshim, so to say. But if someone is learning through the Simonim of the Shulchan Aruch, with the Tur, with the Shulchan Aruch, the Noisei Kelen, and learning it properly, sees that this is not the general. This is It's misleading. It's not the general halach. It's not the way it should be phrased. That's why I don't like this rule. And he quotes a lot of what we saw, and then he says like this: you could be lenient because of the Taisvus that we saw, who says that you could even do the laundry on Tisha B'Av itself. Yesterday, we're not going to repeat what we did, even though we don't hold like that Taisvus. Nevertheless, in our situation, you could combine and be lenient, since you have Shabbos coming up, and it's a time of doing laundry according to Ezra, anyways, like we learned. So you're ready, you could be lenient. Tisha B'Av itself, don't do the laundry. It's a weird thing, but after Tisha B'Av, there's what to rely on. Even though that we wrote that the enactment of Ezra to do laundry on Thursday doesn't apply nowadays, since it's a quick process. Conversely, right back then it was a whole burden. Conversely, nowadays it's a very quick process. Furthermore, the cooking process in Shabbos is much easier than it used to be. It was a whole avoda. You would have to spend a lot of time for it to cook, over the fire, this, that, this. You wouldn't have time to prepare properly. Conversely, nowadays we have all the sophisticated gadgets that we have in the paraphernalia in the kitchen, etc. It's very, very easy. It's quick. You could cook. You could do other things when it's in the oven. When it's cooking, it's very easy. You could do other things. Nevertheless, kol davar shebeminyan sorech minyan achel lehetiro. Something that was made, a rule that was made, you need. It's not so simple to uproot it. And the truth of the matter is, nowadays, we're not so stringent on this in general, doing laundry on Thursday, as we learned together in Siman Reish Mem Beis. We even do it on Erev Shabbos, Fridays. So therefore, why now suddenly on this Shabbos are you going to be careful to do laundry on Thursday? Nevertheless, the actuality testifies that on Erev Shabbos, people are preoccupied, are burdened, are involved with cleaning the house and the like. And they weren't doing it over the 9 days of Avelus of mourning that we had during the 9 days, especially laundry, etc. And the women are very preoccupied with cooking for Shabbos. Because on other times of the year, women are cooking already from Thursday. Double listen carefully. Conversely, nowadays they weren't able to cook because it was Tisha B'Av. You're not supposed to really cook on Tisha B'Av unless you need it for after the fast. You shouldn't be cooking in general. Fine, people aren't careful with that, but they should be careful with that one also. So therefore, someone who is actually careful with that, now they shouldn't get punished by being everything gets thrown on them on Erev Shabbos. It's incredibly hectic. And therefore, he wants to say you could do the laundry as of last night. Especially if you're traveling upstate to a place that doesn't have a laundry machine, there's what to rely on. But if a person is staying home, I would say like this: there's so much time until Shabbos, is really enough time to do everything. But anyways, that's where he's coming from with his own idea. He has quite a rant over there. That's where he's coming from. See, we only have a little bit of time, but we have a lot more to do. So I'm going to try to talk very fast. I said every single minute is going to matter in today's session. The next Shaili says, could you do laundry on items as of last night that you're not going to be using for Shabbos? He says you cannot be lenient, but someone who relies on those who are lenient has who to rely upon. Why? If you're going with that opinion that you could already do laundry as of last night, which itself is already a leniency and should really only be applied if necessary, as we just discussed. If you don't need it for Shabbos, seemingly it will be an issue. Unless it's for children and it needs to be done, just like you could do their clothing also during the 9 days, especially if it's dirty, soiled, it's brought down. So he says nowadays we have something called a washing machine. Much easier to do laundry than going down to the river, hanging it up, etc. Still, he wants to say you cannot add more clothing that you're not going to be using for Shabbos. Even though it's really not a tirchi, it's not a big burden. The hard part is just bringing the clothing down or putting the thing in the machine. The hard part, so to say, it's very easy. They say the hard part is folding it. That's what people tell you. The hard part's folding it. You're just throwing more clothing in. What's the issue? You're not allowed to because you're increasing. You're using something that you're not supposed to be doing it for right now. Because you get a simcha. It's not the cause, it's the effect. You think people enjoy doing laundry? No, no one enjoys doing the laundry. People enjoy wearing clean clothing after. So now you're going to be happy when your clothing is clean after and you're not using it for Shabbos. That's an issue.
And what about if you're doing it all your day, a guy? Can you do
Okay,
it?
then perhaps there's what the one could be more lenient, but even so, it's not preferable. Also, Reb Chaim Kanievsky says only clothing that's going to be used for Shabbos you could do on Erev Shabbos before Chatzos. After midday today, do whatever you want. Nothing to talk about. Do whatever you want. We're talking about as of last night, or perhaps today, but before halachic midday. If you're using a laundry machine that can't handle just a few items of clothing, you could add more. Okay. Sometimes the clothing doesn't get cleaned properly if it's not full. Okay. Which I think usually isn't the case anyways about the our laundry machines. However, he gives a heter for someone who's in a small apartment. Okay. All the clothing is sitting around. It smells, it stinks. It's been there for already a week or so. Stinks. Wants to say you could be lenient. You could be lenient. Lastly, what about yeah, this is the last thing we gotta do. We're running out of time. We only have 2 more minutes. Literally. What about showering? He wants to be lenient and say that you could shower today before halachic midday. If your intention is that you're showering for Shabbos. If you know you're going to shower again later, that is going to be a halachic issue. Also, showering last night, you should wait off on that one as well. Unless you won't have the opportunity to shower today. People have a mind to shower again, that's going to be a problem. But if you say, I'm really, and you're not joking, you say, I'm not going to shower again later. It's just that you got hot later or dirty and now you do need to shower again, that will be okay. Should say I'm showering now in honor of Shabbos. I'm not going to shower again. And then if it happens that you shower again later, as long as you're not playing a whole trick, that will be permissible. Someone who has in mind to shower now in honor of Shabbos. So should try to wait. Because of that Avelis, the morning. Try to wait. In general, you should shower closer to Shabbos. He gives a potential leniency. Someone who gets the haircut earlier in the day and then he has hair all over him, he could shower again. That's not for pleasure. That's just to remove the hair. So gives a leniency in that regard. And lastly, he doesn't like showering as of last night. Supposed to shower Erev Shabbos, especially when it comes to the preparations of Shabbos, especially showering you should do as close to Shabbos as possible. Anyways, that's my presentation of this information. There's different opinions about it. I think the basic reading and understanding is it's best to wait until halachic midday. Can hear you.
Let's say if the guy, has a routine,
What?
there's a routine, that in the morning, that's how they do it,
Yeah. What, the shower?
No, the laundry.
The laundry of the morning is fine. Morning is fine. I'm talking about last night. That's the real issue.
Because it's not really a lot of clothes, not L'Chabad Shabbos, but I'm just saying, it's
Right.
all your day.
But definitely Shabbos clothing is permissible this year as of the morning. Last night is very questionable. That was the whole point of what I'm trying to show.